Hello, and welcome to Win Stupid Prizes, the show where we ask the questions that nobody thought were worth asking. I'm Eddie, and I'm back in the judge's chair for the first time since the first time, and my contestants today are AJ.
Hi, I've got a chair too.
Bear.
It's me, Bear, again!
And Pwal.
Why did I come back?
You fool. And my question for you today is surprisingly simple. If you could have one item from all of video games in real life, which would you pick?
The table from Tabletop Simulator, so I can play board games.
That's just a fucking table, you plum.
It's better. It's just a bit better designed for board games.
You just need more friends that you can see more often.
Aww.
Friends aren't a video game item.
NPC? Oh yeah, good point.
Ooh.
But no, as much as I like nice tables for board games, that's not what I'm going to go with in the end.
What have you thought about then?
One of the other fun things I thought about was an item called the Sheepstick, colloquially called the Sheepstick. It's the Scythe of Vice from Dota. It makes the wielder smarter, stronger, faster. But most importantly, because it's the Sheepstick, I can use it to turn my friends or enemies into pigs for several seconds.
Not sheep.
Not sheep.
Sheepstick that makes pigs.
I'm not quite sure of the benefit to this.
Well, that's why you're going to be a pig for 3.5 seconds.
Oink, oink, I guess.
He's got you there.
Friendship is beautiful.
That does actually bring into an interesting point as to how certain things would work with us. Because are we creeps?
That's a separate question, Paul. Next week.
Because creeps don't have mana.
That is true. I imagine that as humans, our health regen is incredibly low. Like, a Dota hero can heal up to full health in a matter of, like, a minute or two. It takes us 6 months to heal a a couple months to heal a broken arm.
Canonically, creeps are
People.
Normal people who've been taken...
Yeah.
But heroes are also people. So, you might be a creep, I'd be a hero.
Alright, I see how it is.
The Dota universe is a reasonable one to kind of go into because there are a huge number of items in there. Yes, a lot of them are pretty deadly and are only really relevant in combat situations, but one that, for example, is not and is sort of weird in its own way is the Ironwood tree. Literally, it allows you to create trees.
Oh, that's very altruistic of you.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
One of the reasons why I thought the Ironwood tree was good because it doesn't require mana.
Oh, smart. Good thinking.
The theoretical point there is anyone could use it.
Yeah, I think we can, handle that a little bit, because if a lot of items use mana, it's going to become a bit of a fuck if we have no mana, but maybe that further limits the cooldown, rather than the 20 whatever second cooldown that the Scythe of Vice has, because your mana regen is so slow as a human, you can't use it that often.
It's really pitiful. I need 5 coffees.
Whereas Ironwood, boom tree, boom tree, boom tree, let's go, no mana!
But don't the trees disappear after a few seconds?
They do, yes, but I am not permanently a pig, so I'm not too sure what your point is.
Solving deforestation for a few seconds at a time.
I'm just wondering, what would you do with your Ironwood tree, given that the trees disappear after 20 seconds?
Great question.
You can do it every 15 seconds.
Well, that's an interesting point as to kind of at what point does it disappear? If the tree was created and then it immediately turned into something else, does that something else go?
Oh, I see, if you, chop it down immediately.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, in Dota, the only effect chopping trees down has is destroying
Removing the tree. Yeah, no, that's a good point. Well, the Ironwood tree was there as an option.
Yeah, no, I think it's good to discuss.
I like the strategy.
The thing about the Ironwood tree is that it is passive-aggressive, because you just put it down, and it's not a normal tree. They spell GG.
Oh.
So you're just outside Parliament. GG.
Spamming it.
I thought you meant, there's someone I don't like walking along. Let me just put a tree in their way for 30 seconds.
But if you go into someone's house you don't like and you just wave your tree branch and then suddenly a tree spawns, a full-size tree spawns inside their house, disappears, leaves no evidence after 20 seconds.
Fucked their house completely.
Reverse lightning strike.
Yeah, you could just use it for minor acts of terrorism.
That's pretty massive. Yeah, I guess on a terrorism scale, you're right.
It's a minor act of terrorism, it's a major act of fuckery.
Yes.
Oh, jeez, well. One of the things about, how items works made me think earlier, when you mentioned creeps, it'd be really funny, because Boots of Travel can take you to any allied structure or allied creep. Be like, which of my friends can I teleport to? Oh no, I need to stop being friends with this person.
I'm damn sure there's another item that is much faster than there must be one of the a bonus item in Trouble in Terrorist Town that enables you to determine the alignment of people.
I think you can only find out the alignment of someone once they've died or with a map feature.
Yeah.
I mean, in the real world, we have a way of doing that already, and it's just twitter.com.
I thought you were going to like the justice system, and it's 100% foolproofness. Nope, Twitter, you're right. Twitter is a much better moral compass.
Which is also 100% foolproof.
If you're banned on Twitter, you should be banned in real life. Hang on.
An item that is within Dota, like, it shouldn't really cause that much trouble, but it has like a certain sort of moralistic problem, is of course the Hand of Midas.
Oh.
So for those that you don't know, it effectively enables you to destroy another creature and gain a monetary value.
And experience.
Which I don't know how that manifests itself in our world, but nonetheless.
I guess you get to find out what happens when you level up.
You get older.
Yeah, do you just age?
Oh, yeah.
Or suddenly you're just, like, better at your job.
So it's like interest. It accrues over time because you have to get older every time you use it. But you do get more money, and with interest rates as bad as they have been, I think the Hand of Midas sounds good.
It is pretty good.
A creep gives you, 30 gold, and Midas gives you about 200?
Yeah, give or take.
So the average person maybe will have 30 quid in their wallet, so you get 200 quid every time you use it.
And you killed a man, technically.
But that's the reason why I'm not doing it to people. That's only Bear. I was going to become a very particular, exterminator that just goes around, destroying, I don't know, the odd squirrel.
You can hire me to destroy one rat every 3 minutes. Is the gold exchange 1-to-1?
Well, that's what I was going to be having. The main problem is that if I gain a load of gold coins, there's a reasonable chance that, to me, in my current life, it's kind of useless.
It's gold.
It does also bring in another question when it comes into some of these items, which is how conspicuous you're going to be. If I gain a load of gold, physical gold, that is going to attract some sort of attention. To be like, why have you suddenly got all of this gold?
Taxman knocking on your door.
I think you can get around that easily. I mean, with the gold specifically. You buy some land in the countryside, you go and turn some squirrels to gold, you say you found a gold deposit in your land.
Well, that then would make it like a national treasure and then subsequently not mine anymore.
I think you just have to declare it as taxable income and you'll probably be fine.
If it's loose historical coins, then there's a question of national treasure. But, you can buy it in another country where they don't have that rules.
Maybe, I don't know.
Declare it as taxable income. Where did you get this money? Rats?
Yeah,
Where do you get yours?
But yeah, I had an item I thought that was good for making money. It's the Crystallarium from Stardew Valley. You put a fancy gem in it, and in 5 days, you get 1 to 3 copies of that gem.
Okay.
So it's a gem duplicator.
Okay. You have to get hold of a fancy gem in the first place, and then you chuck it in there.
Yeah, you need an initial investment, but you recoup that within the week.
Gotta spend money to make money.
It is a very explicit just a gem clone machine.
Yes.
And you can insert the thing that had been previously created.
Yep, but you don't get the original back, but you do get the original back, 1 to 3 of them.
You get perfect duplicates of it. It destroys the original and creates 1 to 3 perfect.
There's no way of knowing if it's the original or not.
Yeah, that's fair. Schrodinger's gem.
If you get 1 of them, then you only still have 1 of them.
It's a way of gaining money.
Yeah.
Well, it's a way of gaining valuable stones.
Can you only put gems in it?
Yes.
Ah, alright.
So it's not just like a fancy 3D printer.
No.
Yeah, I'm not hyped by this, to be honest, if it's just gems.
No, it's
Yeah.
not that fun an item, but it's just a way of making money like the Midas, but without the
Yeah.
Exploding of rats into gold.
without some of the risks of accidentally killing people when you go out on the street with it.
I had another fairly non-deadly money-making scheme. That's actually fridge-based. Bear with me.
Okay.
So, in The Sims, everything is quite expensive. Especially household items, electrical goods, they're a big-ticket item. Fridges, however, have a way that you can make this money back almost instantly, which is that as soon as you decide you want a particular item of food, hop on over to the fridge, open it up, it's magically there, on a plate, on a bowl, in a carton.
Ooh.
So you do pay a few in-game simoleons, but it's really pretty minor and you don't have to go food shopping.
Yeah, it's basically just like a groceries delivery, but whenever you open your fridge door.
Yeah, and things don't go off until you've already cooked them, which is an improvement on my current fridge management.
That's very true.
That is a big boon.
I think based on the utilization of something, that is 100% there. You're using it every single day. You would not be getting rid of that fridge.
I would get value for money.
Yeah.
It's a super useful item, but did you say it was a money-making scheme?
Yeah, here's how. You get out your bowl of cereal, you eat the cereal, and then instead of throwing that straight in the bin like you would in The Sims, you sell it.
Oh, you generate bowls.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I guess that works when we move it here.
Flood the cheap crockery market.
Because in The Sims, you can never refill a bowl.
No.
And when you wash it up, it is destroyed.
Yes.
You still have to wash it up, though.
You can wash it up, you can put it in the dishwasher, or you can put it directly in the bin.
And it's all the same thing.
Yes, what you do as the player, you just grab the plate, the bowl, the glass, whatever, find it stinking in your house, grab it, chuck it straight in the dustbin.
That's really funny.
Because in The Sims, plates and stuff, unless they're decorative, are only generated when you take a meal.
Okay, fair enough.
And so they go back to nothingness when you clean up.
Gotcha. Do your bins auto-empty as well, or do you have to take the bins out still in The Sims?
Your inside bins, you have to take them out to the outside bin.
Outrageous. What a waste of time.
You have one outside lot bin that is infinite and never gets collected.
But it does sometimes get bugs, and it's the worst.
Not that useful then. I was like, man, bin could be like, it's probably not as good as the fridge, but if it just like got rid of stuff automatically, don't have to worry about taking my bins out.
The outside bin's pretty good for that.
Yeah, but you still got to take the bins out, which is what I was trying to avoid.
Exactly, yeah. I definitely take the fridge over the bin.
As a side question on the money-making scheme, like, since clearly, like, the food bit by itself is really good, but if the plates ultimately don't have a life, because as soon as, well, not a life, that they're a life, but as soon as they get washed up, or get put in a dishwasher, or put in a bin, they immediately cease to exist. Is that the case for these plates that are coming out of this fridge?
That is the question. So either I'm making a whole ton of money setting up IKEA in my backyard, or I'm saving a lot of washing up because my dirties just vanish.
Oh, it's still good. I just kind of like this idea of this weird sort of scam where you give a load of people these bowls, and then they're like, oh, cool, a bowl. They put it in the dishwasher, and they've just sort of dissolved when they open it. Where are the bowls gone?
Didn't I put some bowls in here? Well, I better go buy more from the bowl lady with the fridge.
Another thing from The Sims, if you wanted a way to not have to take the bins out, is a robot. You can buy a robot station that comes with a robot, and it's basically a fully functional sim, except it just walks around your house and does housework for you and doesn't have any needs to fill apart from recharging.
Ah, cool. That's just like a thing from the future.
Yeah, it's just convenient. It's very automated, it's very intelligent. It's as intelligent as the people in the world. Sorry, it's not fair to me say it's very intelligent.
Yeah, that's actually not a great sign. So if we take it out of the game world, how intelligent is it going to be?
It's intelligent enough to figure out how to clean your dishes and pathfind around your house and clean up when you wet yourself.
So smarter than me, which is pretty threatening.
When you say as intelligent as the people in the world, do you mean like on average, or do you mean that the people it's around?
It doesn't have an intelligence, it just follows the same kind of AI that The Sims do without having certain needs to guiding it.
Okay.
Another thing that they added later was the Robotics Workbench, so you could pick that instead, use it a few times to build up your robot making skills, and then just make them. You'd need a bit more of an initial investment because every time you use it, you spend money on the parts. But eventually you can create an indefinite number of those robots quite easily.
Is an interesting point then when it comes to like effectively a crafting station. Does the crafting station intrinsically teach a person how to do something? Because there was 1,000,000,001 different crafting stations.
Yeah.
I would say in The Sims, specifically, the crafting stations, the act of using them puts up your skill over time. So in some other games they don't, and it's actually the crafting that makes you better, crafting certain items. But in The Sims, there are just like practice options and things that a certain amount of time spent on a station, like a piano from The Sims, would make you a master pianist just from playing over time.
Yes, and I would also say that like you could probably become a master pianist by playing a piano.
I don't know. I've tried.
If you dedicate enough time to it.
Yes.
You just reinvented hard work.
But that's hard work, whereas in The Sims, just sitting there and playing makes you better. You don't have to like figure out how you're doing it.
But I don't know if you've ever like practiced something. I know I haven't. But I believe that is more or less how it works.
Take painting, for example. If you decide you want to paint, yes, practicing makes a lot of difference. But just practicing doesn't make you good. You need to practice to be good. But if you're painting the same stick figure every time, you're not going to end up painting masterpieces. Whereas in The Sims, the next time you go to paint that stick figure, oh look, it's quite a nice still life of a bowl of fruit I'm painting instead. You haven't chosen what you're painting, it's just the next skill level up, which isn't what happens with real life practice things.
Maybe, again, I'm still not sure if that is a property of the object or whether that's a property of the world.
I mean, even if it is a property of the object, all you've really done is you haven't saved time, you've just changed the narrative, is what you've really done.
The thing about The Sims is any of those skill-raising objects, you know that you can reach a master level within a fixed time frame, and I don't think that's true in real life.
That's a fair point.
Yeah, it guarantees the ceiling, but you still have to do the process.
Yeah. All you have to do is make sure that you've slept well, you've talked to someone recently, and you've eaten.
That's impossible.
0 out of 3 is pretty bad.
Sorry, you have to go to the toilet and all that stuff. Sorry, we've run out of time. It's time for bed again.
Adding more things to the list. God damn.
I brushed my teeth last week. Gosh.
It's a good thing I don't have to go grocery shopping anymore. I wouldn't have the time.
What about those items in The Sims that you can buy with, like, your life achievement points? The really high-end ones. Aren't there ones that just, like, meet your needs, or you put on a helmet and you can, like, develop beneficial traits?
Yeah, you can get a perk that means you are never weary or never smelly. There's a crown, I think, which is pretty great to start off with, and you can slot different crystals in it.
I'm sold.
And they basically make you, like, happy forever or something, which sounds pretty good.
Happy forever, god damn.
One of the other late-game items in The Sims, if it has late-game items, is... Yeah, so if you look after your Sims well enough, get them enough happiness points, you can eventually buy them a magical money tree.
A money tree?
Yeah.
That's another way to make money, then, rather than a fridge.
Yeah.
I guess using the money tree, I could hire somebody to do the shopping for me.
Yeah.
How much money do you get from the money tree?
That's a really good question.
Next time on Win Stupid Prizes, how much money do you get from the money tree?
$1,200 a day. That's a lot of money.
That is a lot of money.
Always squiggles.
Simoleons.
Simoleons are pretty equivalent to
okay.
Maybe a little less valuable than, like, dollars.
I just thought they were more than dollars. Like,
Let me look it up.
Simoleons to dollars.
I suppose because that's explicitly, whereas like something that's making gold or something that's making a repeat of a gem, something that's explicitly making money is technically illegal because you're literally printing your own money. Ironically, because it is a currency, it might actually make it more problematic.
growing, printing, it's natural, so it can't be bad.
It's also a little houseplant. I assumed it was going to be a big outside tree, but the image they're showing here is just a little houseplant.
Yeah, that way you can protect it, yeah.
Yeah, you could just have a disposable income. Maybe you don't want to make too much money from it to not be too suspicious to the tax man, but you know.
Everything's in cash.
So apparently a simoleon is worth something like $2 to $3.
Oh, heckin' result.
But if you're buying property, it's worth a lot more. The property in The Sims is relatively cheap compared to the real
That's
world.
wonderful.
So like 1,000 simoleons a day is like $2,000-3,000.
Yeah, let's say it's 2,000.
Dang.
If you do the work of harvesting that every year, then that's, $750,000 a year.
Oh, no, chump change.
It's not an insane amount.
It's not enough to get you, assassinated.
Yeah, it's not Jeff Bezos money,
Yeah, I'm not going to get eaten.
but it's rich forever money.
Yeah.
It is rich forever money. I remember working out at some point that the break point of being able to live off the interest is about £4 million.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's probably gone up because of inflation, but it's surprisingly low.
Yeah. I look forward to never using that information.
Even with a really crappy interest rate, if you have £10 million, you can be getting 100k a year with 1% interest rate.
Yeah, that sort of thing.
I've got to get me a magic money tree.
I've got to get me £10 million.
Yeah, just £10 million is, you're set.
And the winner this week is that person who put £10 million as the answer.
Thanks to our one £10 million level subscriber.
But your money tree earnings put you in a much wealthier bracket than £4 million living off the interest.
I think we should call our Ko-Fi Money Tree. I think that'd be a better name.
Yeah.
Speaking of trees,
Hey.
one of my other items is the apricorn tree from the Pokemon Gold and Silver games. Because one of my thoughts was a Pokeball would be a rad item to have, but you've only got one of them.
Yeah.
And you then just have a pet squirrel.
Well, a Pokeball lets you mind control a wild animal and make them, semi-sentient. as soon as you've captured a Pokemon, they understand your commands.
You do have to have the required number of gym badges. So you would have to join a gym bear.
It depends on the level of the Pokemon. But I've been a gym leader. When Pokemon Go came out, I put on a costume, walked around, and said to strangers that I was a gym leader.
Fair enough. And if that's not valid, I don't know what is.
So, yeah, the risk of a Pokeball is it doesn't work. So I could say Master Ball and just capture one animal, make them sentient, and they follow my commands.
Okay.
Makes them sentient.
Pokemon who are very, very dumb and basically can't think understand your command. Like a Slowpoke, by the game logic at least. Slowpokes take a long time to respond, but as soon as you've mind-controlled them with a Pokeball, they do the move you tell them to immediately.
Okay, yeah.
Well, immediately for a Slowpoke.
So it's kind of like having a well-trained dog, but a bit more evil.
Look, Pokeballs are not ethical.
I'm glad we've got that out there.
Well, that ruins my next question.
Yeah, here's another Win Stupid Prizes question.
Are Pokeballs ethical? Answer, no.
If you were in the Pokemon world, how would you take down Professor Oak's evil empire of Pokeballs? But yes, I don't think they're ethical. But ignoring that, apricorns in the Gold and Silver games, and Crystal, were a kind of tree that you could harvest every so often and take them to an artisanal crafter who would make different kinds of Pokeballs depending on which apricorn tree you have. An apricorn is basically the primitive form of Pokeball before the modern Pokeball was made, but they're still functional. Having an apricorn tree rather than a Pokeball means that I now have a source of Pokeballs, except I have to figure out how to make them work.
Yeah, you do have to figure out Pokeball technology still.
Except the technology of the apricorns is very basic. I think it's just like a crafting. It's probably highly skilled, but like the apricorn master, he's not putting loads of electronics in. It's pre-digital.
Oh, interesting.
So are you telling me that Pokeballs are actually seeds?
I think you're saying that they were originally, but they're not anymore.
Yes. In the history of Pokemon, before they made modern Pokeballs and Bill's computer system, Pokeballs were plants, seeds, whatever, a kind of ball.
It's just a coconut that he just wrapped around one and was like, get in there!
Yeah, basically.
I fit this bug in a coconut and now it's mine.
It's a coconut that you throw and it magically captures a wild animal and makes it befriend you. Now, in the modern era, they figured out how to do that digitally and how to transform a Pokemon into digital information and store it on your computer.
This is Digimon, my dude.
With all the Pokemon games since Red and Blue, Pokemon are stored digitally and can be transferred along networks.
Yeah, Pokemon are now Digimon.
Yeah.
I'm not okay with this.
Except, no, in Digimon only work in the digital world, whereas Pokemon work in the real world, you just store them in the digital world.
Digimon are the champions.
In, like, the Digimon movie, they come to the real world and cause trouble, but...
Well, most of the plot line is just kids getting sucked into the digital world and being like, well, fuck.
Yes.
Spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers for the opening 5 minutes of any Digimon.
Saturday morning TV show. Wide variety of children between the ages of 5 and maybe 12 don't swear as they get dramatically taken into another world.
Well, gosh darn it, they'll say.
Yeah, that's the difference. Like, Pokemon is the real world, and they have digital worlds where individual Pokemon can exist.
Apparently you can also turn apricorns into drinks, which will improve a Pokemon's performance in Pokeathlon competition. How do you
Steroids.
Pokeathlon?
You have explicitly Pokemon steroids.
Yes, you have Pokemon steroids. You can turn
Hooray.
apricorns into Pokemon steroids.
Okay, so this plant thing that spits out a fig that can be used to create a Pokeball, which means you can then gain sentient squirrels. Maybe a badger.
Oh, in bears.
I think a bear might be, beyond, like, it won't go in.
What do you mean? All you have to do is beat it up. You shoot it in the leg a few times and then you catch it.
And that's why Pokeballs aren't ethical.
Right, okay, so again, I'm still not quite too sure what having, I don't know, a bear.
Paul, what don't you understand about punch a bear and shove it in a nut?
From the games, Paul, I can tell you that it is possible to catch gods with a normal tier Pokeball.
But yeah, And
Nah, as far as I'm concerned, it's impossible to catch anything above about level 10 with a regular Pokemon. I was not a Pokemon master.
I suppose the problem with bringing anything that's like a Pokeball into a real world is you also have to think of like this bear that just hucks it at me. I go, what the heck's this? I get put in, and then I'm like, well, what's in here? Then I get mind controlled by this boy. He throws me at some poor bastard. I jump out and just go, paw, 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 paw.
Exactly.
Because now I lose the ability to speech, and all I can do is say my own name.
Think about how powerful a Pokemon can be, though. Even like a basic Pokemon at high levels, they are mad strong.
And what exactly would you do with the strength of this?
Well, like I could catch one of my rats, say, and then I could go level it up a bit by feeding it candy. As long as that candy is like discontinued, I'd have to find marathon bars or something.
That is canon.
That's rare candy. And then I would go and find a bear, and I would tell my rat to beat up the bear, and I'd catch the bear, and then I'd feed the bear a bunch of candy, and then with that bear I'd be able to capture, I don't know, a blue whale?
And then what are you going to do with a blue whale?
I have it in a ball! Think about what you can do by just throwing a blue whale at someone.
I'm more worried about what you can do.
Oh dear God.
Okay, so beyond the destructive power of summon blue whale,
Well, the other thing is the blue whale can still function on land once it's been caught with a Pokeball.
I would like to see that.
Can't do a lot, but it will survive.
In the Pokemon games, once you've captured it,
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, good
water
point.
Pokemon don't have any disadvantages on land.
And that is weird now I think about it.
I didn't realize that you were one tree and a bit of information from holding the world hostage.
And if you can capture people in them, which the only reason we don't...
You can't do it in the game, so we assumed you can't.
Yeah, because a person has never shown up in battle against you. Because people don't jump out at you in no long grass.
I mean, they kind of do.
They definitely do.
In Pokemon, they jump out at you in the long grass to throw Pokemon at you. In real life, they jump out at you in the long grass and say, "Buy me a hot dog."
And you go, Pokemon!
Yeah. No, I say, "Strong rat, bite its throat."
okay, Bear has weaponized
Fruit. No, he's tried to. He's got the tree. He's got all the stuff he needs. He just doesn't have the information as to how to weaponize it. That's the one thing that's holding him back.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I know that apricorns can be turned into Pokeballs, so there's a bit of industry to be done there, a bit of science.
I mean, hopefully for the world, they turn out to be delicious and we never work out how to make them into Pokeballs.
Or I make them into Pokeballs and I sell them to people to help train their dogs.
Okay, that's a much nice use of it. I do think that you probably suffer a little bit too much with your ADHD to actually work out how to make them into Pokeballs is going to be the problem. You'll be like, this is going to take just a couple months of hard research. Oh, look, I'm going to go do something. Let's play some video games.
Yeah, if we don't hear from Bear for a couple of months, look out.
Then we're going to be worried, yeah.
Luckily, I have a real-life cheat code. Medication.
Oh, shit. Oh, no.
Well, I think what's more likely the case is like we haven't heard from Bear from a while, and we just wander into his flat, and there's just on the floor this tiny fig, and it's like just kick it slightly. Just oh my god!
Or just one of my rats is really hench and has eaten me.
Oh, dear. Oh, God. Yeah. You weren't actually in America for the last month. You've been researching.
So, considering Bear has kind of gone on like a weaponry front with, spontaneous blue whales and so on and so forth, we haven't really discussed weaponry because weaponry clearly has its own problems, but there are several games which treat weaponry slightly differently. One of those ones is the Ratchet and Clank universe, where a lot of those weapons are incredibly destructive. However, the item I am going to be talking about is the Groovatron.
I like the sound of this.
You throw out a disco ball that causes everyone to dance. And quite frankly, just, change my life, spin out of a career, I could become legitimately employed to go and be at weddings and do other events like, oh, everyone's just not really doing anything, throw this ball into the middle, everyone's dancing. It's quite good for me on a personal basis, not really very confident going onto the dance floor. I just go, well, I'm going to drop this at my own feet, commit.
You think you're going to be hired for weddings to essentially hold people hostage to dance?
Isn't that what weddings are for?
Well, not necessarily.
I've seen the videos. Everyone's happy about it.
Yeah, everyone's happy to dance. That's kind of the point.
Oh, okay.
It is I get a name for being like, damn, somehow this guy just lets the party go.
Yeah.
I might only need to use one or two.
But don't they last like only 30 seconds or something?
They do, but in that initial moment, it might just be enough to get everyone moving.
Yeah, that's fair. And it works on animals and vehicles as well.
Oh, good.
Animals, vehicles, slimes.
It does work on all enemies and allies.
That's really interesting.
It is one of those situations where it can like, be used in difficult social situations, drop it on the floor, bad business meeting, drop it on the floor, want to get a better lunch, drop it on the floor, negotiating with terrorists, drop it on the floor. It all works.
Stuck in traffic,
That's a good one.
Does it affect the user? Like, presumably when Ratchet and or Clank uses it, they don't themselves start dancing.
It doesn't affect the user.
So you can't make yourself dance.
But it might make him less self-conscious.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to dance, you make a bunch of people dance with you, so, like, you know, you don't have to worry as much.
Yeah, Paul's like, oh, I don't want to make a show and make a fool of myself by dancing. Okay, everyone else start dancing, now I feel okay.
yeah, that really helps.
Paul is known to have the compulsion to just dance spontaneously.
Indeed.
After a couple of beers.
Hey, tongues out, dance moves are out.
I have a question about the weapon, though. Is it a weapon that, like, recharges, or is it a consumable?
That is a very good point, and the main problem with it, I do not have access to ammunition. So realistically, what would happen if I did take the Groovatron would be...
One dance.
I drop one, and then I find out what it is. I use another one as a joke. The third time I use in like a slightly nervous situation. The fourth time I might save the universe, and then I'm out of ammo.
I'm actually really glad you brought that up, because one item I was considering bringing up is the dubstep gun from the Saints Row.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
yeah.
the upside to the dubstep gun is that it has infinite ammo, infinite party. The downside is it does kill people.
It does act as an actual gun.
Yeah, it's only there for murder. Anyone who feels the beat from your dubstep gun is probably dead.
Yeah, like, they've got a brief moment of incredible dance moves, and then they're dead.
It could be used in, like, I don't know, like in the same way you might be like, if you're of a certain kind of person that, like, has a celebration and you fire your gun in the air. It's technically not dangerous-ish.
Yeah, I'm not sure I want to encourage that, but, you know.
You've essentially just got a boombox.
A boombox that if you accidentally point it in the wrong direction...
People die.
And I absolutely would.
You've got worse boombox, unless your plan is to kill people, in which case you've got better boombox.
I'm pretty sure there are boomboxes in-game that we could... If your goal was music.
The Groovatron, I think, is a much better argument for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Groovatron's cool. Question about Ratchet and Clank and ammo. Are all ammo pickups identical?
No.
So you can't load bullets and get disco balls out.
Correct. Like, the ammo is specific.
Because in some games, all you need to do to recharge them is go to, like, a gun shop, grab a handful of bullets and shove them in whatever gun, and they'd become whatever you need.
No, it is a disadvantage. However, with the Ratchet and Clank universe does spin us right back to the start of where we were, where there is the Sheepinator, which does recharge, and you just turn people into sheep.
Turn people into pigs.
Yeah, the actual Sheepstick. And the thing is about it that's probably worse is they don't turn back.
Ooh, very effective.
I'm here to start parties and turn people into sheep. And I'm all out of parties.
I think it's reasonable, as long as you don't use all of your ammo immediately, there is the opportunity for some research and to figure out how to make more. Maybe we don't have the right materials, because that was the basis of, like, you know, Apricorns. It's a recharging supply as long as we figure out how it works. But that one doesn't need more materials. Hopefully we have the materials to make disco ball ammo, and then you can just make more of it.
We have the material for disco balls, so we just got to work out how to combine it with ammo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's clearly like an interesting point of whether you have a passive bonus or an active. Because a passive bonus, for a lot of things, it's you just have it. There's no intelligence required on our end as to how to use it. Anything that requires an active component, like the ironwood tree, how you gain a tree out of it,
Well, you know,
I actually don't know.
You know how to do it.
Yeah, but like...
The evidence we have is that every hero who picks up an ironwood tree knows how to use it. So it's probably not that hard.
Yeah.
I guess, but then the Ratchet and Clank example is this is a piece of advanced technology. Doesn't mean it's user-friendly.
True.
But then Ratchet picks it up and knows how to use it immediately, and who knows if he's seen it before.
He's also got a robot friend on his back as well. I don't know, yeah, I take your point. I'm just kind of like, because it's bringing on to my other thought, which we touched on briefly with some of the items that you could give Sims to wear in towards the late game. Some of the best items I would say would be generic stat bonus increases. that you get in RPGs.
Yeah.
Skyrim has a bit more of this than Fallout, but would a ring that just increases your barter capability, banter, that was another one, speechcraft.
Yeah.
I've already maxed out on banter, baby.
Ring of Mad Bants.
Exactly. You have the Ring of Mad Bants, and your Mad Bants skill increases by 30% or whatever.
30% on 0 is still 0, Paul. I'm sorry.
On an even basicer level, the ring or whatever that increases your carry capacity. It's technically a ring of strength. Nearly every single RPG has not necessarily a carry weight, but a lot of them don't have a carry weight involved. Like, hell, look at Minecraft Steve. You have a bag that you can fill with, so long as you have less than 64 times X number of things.
Can carry the weight of the sun.
I do have mods for that. One of the things I was thinking about is I have a mod that gives you a very stylish knapsack that basically means you can carry around most of a house.
Yeah, I suppose. I kind of find it funny that, like, if you accidentally broke something that turned into a lot of tiny pieces inside that bag, everything else gets forced out of it as you've suddenly got 1 billion grains of sand inside the bag. But, like, that was one of the ones I was thinking was really interesting, because one of the things we've discussed, irrelevant of, like, having the tax man come after you and all those other things, what happens if, like, the cosmic / mystic division of the British intelligence, like, it's MI9. Oh, okay, you've gained the ability to summon something or do whatever. It's like, oh no, that's been taken by the government and you never see this thing again. Like, you want it to be very useful to you, but you do not want it to draw attention to yourself.
Yeah. You want a nice, stylish knapsack.
Or yeah, things that give you extra abilities. Like one of the items I was thinking that might be noticed, but could also help you defend against people who noticed it, is a vacuum cleaner.
What?
Hang on.
I'd like to see you... No, I take that back. I would not like to see you defend yourself with a vacuum cleaner.
You just want a vacuum cleaner.
So, you know Mario, you know Sonic, and of course you know Blinks.
Oh, Blinks, of course. Who the hell is Blinks?
Blinks is Microsoft's answer to Mario and Sonic.
Really?
That they've now dropped. It was.
Okay.
When the original Xbox came out, they created a game, Blinks the Time Sweeper.
Sure.
Blinks is like an anthro cat person.
Okay.
And Blinks is a time sweeper. And the time sweepers have time-controlling vacuum cleaners that they go and use to defend the timeline.
See, I was expecting you to talk about the only other vacuum in video games, which is the one from the paid expansion to The Sims that just covers your game in dust that you now have to clean up. But a time-manipulating one, I could buy that.
Wait, so that's a DLC for anti-quality of life features, is that right?
Yeah, Sims is all about making your Sims' lives worse.
I like that more than having the anti-quality of life features built into the game and having to pay to remove them.
That's fair.
It's surprisingly a better way round.
But yeah, so this vacuum cleaner, it can control time. You have 5 different functions, so you can rewind, fast forward, pause, record, or slow.
That might be too many for a vacuum cleaner.
Too many options.
The record function allows me to do something, and then it plays back and another me, like an image of me is doing that, and I can interact with it. So if I wanted to play a 2-player board game...
Wait, no, because you'd have to do the move yourself first.
And you've recorded it.
Yeah.
It would just be there doing the same move over and over.
It's not a clone.
Well, no, it would just do it once.
Oh, okay. But you've already done it.
I'd have to record it every turn.
And then move the, like, chess piece back or whatever so that it can do it again.
Well, no, what it does is I press record.
Yeah.
I go to the other side of the table, I make the move for the opponent.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I stop recording, it jumps back to the start of that.
Yeah.
My image goes and does that, and I'm sitting there in real life.
Goes round the table and makes the move.
Yeah, so for some moves, it's not
So
great.
you just made it twice. I don't understand.
But for some real-time games, it's better. Oh, no, so I'd have them make the opponent's move, and then I'd make my own move.
But you'd still remember the movie.
But it's still just you doing it.
Okay, but this particular circumstance, for you, makes
God.
no sense. Like,
No, but I could use it to, like, press buttons when I needed 2 people pressing buttons.
oh, because that's a usual thing you need in life.
I guess you could, like, play a cooperative like Portal 2 with yourself.
Yeah. The other thing is, the vacuum cleaner can suck up enemies.
Oh, nice.
It is interesting that none of us have, like, touched on, like, time travel items.
Yeah, I was wondering.
Clearly, I've come at this with a very risk-averse approach, because the problem with time travel is we don't know actually what the time travel rules of our universe are, and it isn't necessarily the same as the video game universe in which we're taking the item from.
I'm willing to take that risk.
Yeah, well, the thing about the vacuum cleaner that's actually potentially quite a weakness is each of those functions only works when you've harvested time crystals of that function type.
Ah, right.
But
yeah.
time crystals, they're not just in certain places. They appear where there are glitches in time.
Okay.
So the tool, it fixes time
Oh.
and runs off of time being broken.
I understand the theme of the game now.
So it is definitively an item that will change your career, because you literally just have a different job.
Yeah, and I'm not sure that's a legit job in this universe. You don't get paid for it.
Yeah, it was interesting because there's the dagger from the Sands of Time, which of course needs the sands to be able to reverse time.
Right, yes.
Although I think near one of the ends of those games, you might get an unlimited amount of sand.
Just what I always wanted. I can get one item from all the video games and I'm getting an unlimited quantity of sand.
Yes!
Well, actually, there are some fun items in Terraria that are basically like that. There's like a staff which can just make grass.
Well, Bear's got at least 20 kilograms of sand, so, he's alright for a little while.
That's true. I won all that sand in the first episode, so...
The reason I didn't pick out any time travel items is if you do invent time travel or you magically have access to it from a video game, the first thing you have to do is go back in time and explain to Stephen Hawking why you didn't go to his party for time travelers. And I just don't want to do that. It's going to be really awkward.
No, just go to his party for time travelers.
Yeah.
My theory as well is that actually loads of people turned up to that party and they were all like, you can't tell people about this because it just fucks with everything. So Stephen Hawking was like, no one showed up. Oh, what a shame.
Or maybe he just didn't go himself.
Or maybe just all of them were like, why would I want to go and see Stephen Hawking?
Maybe he went back in time to his own party and then, I don't know, shot himself
Oh no!
so that he didn't leak the secret that time travel is real. He created a paradox to destroy the universe so the secret of time travel didn't get out. What an absolute hero. Now, one other question I have about the time vacuum, actually. Does it affect you? Like, if you fast forward time, you said that was one of the functions, are you also moving really fast? Because that's just regular time then.
So, I think fast forward time only affects you.
That's weird.
Fast forward is a way for you to go faster through, like, let's say that you have to press a button and then a bridge only appears for a certain amount of time. That lets you cross that bridge when you wouldn't be able to normally.
Ah.
Rewind time just lets you go and undo a mistake.
Yep.
Pause lets you move around and do stuff in stop time. Again, it uses up the time crystals you've harvested, so there are limitations on it. It's not the most powerful form of time control item that we could probably find in a video game, but
fair.
it does also let you clean up your house. So
Yeah, and your enemies.
we talked about record, and I think slow just... I need to check, because slow is probably what I described as fast forward. Okay, fast forward speeds up not only the player, but the entire world as well.
Oh,
A protective barrier is placed around the player during the duration of fast forward.
okay. But if you're going faster and the world is going faster, it's as if everything is normal.
Yes, but it gives you a shield.
Okay, so fast forward is just, here's a shield.
Yeah, I guess so.
Does it still affect, like, you mentioned the bridge thing, does it still do that?
So that's what the slowdown is.
Ah.
Or maybe slow just slows things down. It's different in the first and second game, because apparently in the second game, the fast forward only speeds you up, which is what we were talking about. But in the first game, it speeds up everything.
Okay.
So they said, what's the point of this, I guess, after that first game? Why did we do it this way?
This is for speedrunners only.
Yeah, I think slowing down time just gives you more time to react. Fast forwarding time lets you go faster than the world.
Okay, cool. But having multiple options is quite nice, because a lot of time devices, I imagine, have one particular use. And so having one that has multiple uses, even though you've got to go and find the crystals and then fix the time problem that happened.
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily have to fix the time problem.
Depends what the consequences of not fixing the time problem are, I would say.
Yeah, who knows?
Good question. Who knows?
I also sort of like the parallel universe thing where you're physically taking... It isn't just you gain the item, it's you're physically taking that item out of that other universe. So if, say, for example, the Dagger of Time, if I was to take the Dagger of Time, then there's the Prince of Persia that's like, oh, fuck.
Oh, no.
That's a really good point.
Luckily, that's not too bad for Blinks, because you can buy different vacuums which have different features.
Oh, so all he needs is funds.
During the game, you earn the resources to buy, like, upgraded vacuums that do specific things better.
Well, we have gone through quite the selection.
I do want to mention an item that I consider to be the correct answer in terms of flexibility and power.
Why do I feel this is going to be boring?
Okay, remember you are pitching to me.
Yeah, well, it's not going to be my answer, but I think for completeness, as a nerd and a pedant, I can't not mention something that I think is correct.
Okay.
So, one of them is the Gary's Mod Edit Gun.
Okay.
So Gary's Mod is a weird one because you are in a game, but you're in a game which you use to construct other games. And you do that through the Edit Gun, which you use to spawn, move, and change the properties of items.
Does that mean I could get a personal assistant by getting Clippy?
Paul, would you invite Clippy into your IRL life?
Good point.
Not strictly a video game, but I will allow you to choose Clippy if you want.
Clippy, the item from the video game Microsoft Word.
Yeah, that's my favourite game.
It doesn't have a jump button.
Windows 10 does keep on asking me if I want to turn on streaming and record whenever I open up Microsoft Word. So, according to Microsoft's own operating system, they do think it's a game.
Yeah, Discord automatically goes into Do Not Disturb mode whenever I open Word.
Nice.
Explains a lot.
But yeah, I think the Edit Gun gives you a lot of power, a lot of flexibility. It gives you wealth and new items, and you can always just go on the workshop and download cool other items people have made and spawn those.
But that assumes that they've got edit guns, doesn't it?
No, as in, you go on the Steam Workshop.
Oh, nice.
Literally look on the Steam Workshop right now.
God, no, that's a good thought, my dude.
And you can spawn those items in with your Edit Gun.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably right. That probably is the right answer.
You know that we can literally just buy video games.
Okay, but now make that giant gold toilet appear in real life with your Edit Gun that is in real life.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Just make video games in the real world.
It is an interesting horror story of you've got this gun that allows you to bring in low polygon furniture. Everything looks kind of real and also fake at the same time.
You'd be really popular in IKEA.
You're getting closer to things and it's sort of like, this thing has actual pixels.
I imagine that's what having bad eyesight is, right?
Alright, weird flex, but okay.
The lucky thing about the Gary's Mod Edit Gun is because that keeps up with the workshop, over time that becomes less of a problem.
I suppose.
But yeah, it's kind of a boring answer, but I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, that's fair.
It gives you a lot of powers, but it gives you physics powers,
Yeah.
as well as the ability to create whatever you want.
I've also been thinking about utility items, and I was actually thinking about the multi-tool /gun that you have in No Man's Sky. I don't know if you guys have played with that, but it is a very powerful in-game item. It's like they got all of the ways they want you to interact with the world and just put them all into one item.
Right.
Okay.
That would be pretty good.
What can it do in the game then?
So you can use it to build things. It basically just magically 3D prints them in front of you, as long as you have the resources somewhere. It can blast apart most things. You can load different kinds of bullets and lasers and stuff into it, the usual space stuff. But you can also use it it has a tiny little laser beam, and that allows you to gouge enormous holes in the earth or whatever other material you encounter in space. And it's a perfect recycling mechanism. Seriously, you point it at the ground, it makes an enormous hole. Then you use the dirt that you got from the ground to power the laser.
Nice.
And everything is just immediately taken apart into its constituent elements.
Wow. Okay.
It reminds me of the Starbound tool, but just upgraded. Because in Starbound you have a similar tool that can deconstruct terrain or build it again, but it doesn't have all of those other features built into the same tool. There are other tools for that.
It feels really good to use.
When you said multi-tool, I didn't know if you were going to be talking about Mass Effect, because in Mass Effect, you have multi-tools that are basically futuristic mobile phones that you can use for all sorts of functions and hacking and stuff. But if I was going to take an item from Mass Effect, it wouldn't be a mobile phone, it would be Element Zero, which you use to control the gravity of item and make people psychic and all that.
Whoa. I'm just going to take an element that makes people psychic.
Well, after some really horrible experimental programs using children.
Beautiful. Oh, well, most of us would be psychic if that worked in the real
But that's an interesting case where you do have to consider the impact on the game world if you take that thing away.
Yeah, well, there is a lot of elements. Well, it's a rare element, but you wouldn't be taking all of it away. You'd be taking a chunk.
Yeah, but a rare thing in the vastness of space is not that rare.
Yeah, you'd be using it to basically kickstart the technology of our world. Because basically a lot of Mass Effect is based around this element that when it receives an electric current, it can increase or decrease the gravity of an area around it.
Huh.
Ooh.
And that's why the game's called Mass Effect.
I never knew that. That has just clicked. Thanks.
Yeah, I
There
also
we
did not know
go.
that.
We're an educational podcast now.
In the same way that I didn't understand that Star Wars was about wars involving stars.
I think that's a joke.
Wait, what? But there were no stars in that. They're all planets and shit. Oh no, wait, there was a Death Star. Shit.
The only star.
There were two of them. Spoilers for Star Wars. There were two Death Stars.
Speaking of stars, there are quite a few items in Spore that would be quite impactful in the late game. In the space stage, you can get planet busters, basically a nuke that blows up a planet.
Oh, good.
You can get things that like terraform planets for you as single items.
Ooh.
You can get a spaceship that has all those tools built into it.
Is that really an item then?
A spaceship is a large item.
Yeah, and by that point it's like, yes, what do I want? I would like the Normandy from Mass Effect, because it's technically an item.
I guess.
Yeah, that would be. But I think one of the fun items in Spore is if you make it to the center of the galaxy, you get the Staff of Life, spoiler alert, which is a single item that you can use on a barren planet, and it instantly turns it into a fully inhabitable planet and spawns a bunch of life on it.
That does sound handy.
You just generate life. Wow.
Yeah, it just turns a planet into a living world.
Which is probably one of the better things to get, considering how our planet's going, so a big reset button is probably not that bad.
Yeah.
I have a tangential question, which is if you use the Staff of Life on Venus, for example.
Venus?
Venus is not in the Goldilocks zone for habitable planets, as far as we understand it. So does the Staff of Life, make it work?
That's not a feature of Spore in the game.
Right, okay. Every planet is habitable or can be...
Can be made habitable, yes.
Okay, sure.
At each tier of life, you need 2 or 3 different plant species and 2 herbivore species and a carnivore species.
Sure.
So I could go to Venus, get the temperature right momentarily, and then drop dandelions, oak trees, squirrels, cows, and bears.
Just the essentials.
It would be stable as a tier 1 planet.
Brilliant.
I'd visit that.
Who knew that's all you needed?
I then have to do tier 2 and tier 3. But yeah. That's why I think actually, the implications of taking the spaceship from Spore indicate that you have achieved a sort of final stage of your civilization and you're ready to move quickly between stars and develop your civilization across them.
You got to get to the center of the universe to get it, so...
Yeah.
Might as well cheat it into this one.
Well, here's the other thing. If you take the spaceship from Spore, it means that actually creating that civilization across space is really boring.
What? Okay.
It's all really just the same thing over and over, and there's no nuance.
Oh, right, you just go, hey, this is now a habitable planet. All right, on to the next one.
And also, just pirates keep attacking your planets, and even if you set up defenses.
Space pirates!
Space pirates!
And it's really annoying.
So if you pick an item from Spore, you also, by necessity, create space pirates.
It also probably means there's a bunch of other alien civs out there.
Does that mean picking an item from Spore automatically pushes human capabilities to that stage?
You are now a tier 7 planet.
Well, I think having the spaceship would allow us to reverse engineer a bunch of that stuff, yeah.
That's some weird implications. Okay. Anybody got anything else they still want to talk about?
Yeah, actually. As you know, my 2 passions are saving the world and carbohydrates. So, my absolute favourite item that I think should be real for the sake of humanity is garlic bread from Skyrim.
Oh, from Skyrim, okay.
Specifically, yes.
I was about to say, garlic bread is already... I don't want to blow your mind on nothing. What does Skyrim garlic bread do?
It's just like normal garlic bread, but it also cures all diseases.
Wow.
And the best part is, it's really easy to make. I'll tell you the recipe.
Holy shit.
It's garlic,
Yeah?
butter,
Ooh, a twist in there.
yeah, and bread. That's it.
So I guess the aim more is to, modify, hoping that, bringing the recipe in from Skyrim modifies the properties of garlic bread in real life.
Yes.
Oh, that's bold, isn't it? Yeah, because if you just choose the garlic bread, you've got one baguette of garlic bread to try and fix the one.
Or you can reverse engineer what is within the garlic bread.
Even if you're reverse engineering it, you need to make sure it doesn't go off before you figure it out.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I mean, even if you reverse engineer it, you get the recipe bread, butter, and garlic.
Yeah, and it's all like, what?
I don't think has any magical properties. Oh, wow.
It's pretty good.
But if you pick the recipe, does the recipe have magic properties, or is it just a list? I mean, you've just got the ingredients for garlic bread, well done, and it's like we already knew. Oh no.
Yeah, it's just a generic list, yeah.
Yeah, how do you get the magic? Do you just have to take one baguette?
I think there are some other items that might be helpful for different parts of what you're looking at there. Rather than having one piece of bread, if you pick the crate from Overcooked, you have an unlimited amount of bread.
I do like bread, but how will that save the world?
It won't. Well, unless you give everyone bread.
Oh, it might solve world hunger, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And if it breaks the laws of thermodynamics, it might also solve energy, and it might also solve entropy.
Handy, now you mention it.
Solving questions that, like, people are like, that's so far off, we ain't got to worry about.
You burn the bread for energy and launch the remains into space, and you just have an unlimited energy source.
Not very efficient, but unlimited.
Yes. If you want to cure all diseases, I'm sure there are items that do this in video games. The main thing I'm thinking of is the Heartstone from the Night Hag in D&D.
Okay.
In D&D, a Night Hag can create a Heartstone, which they use to enter the astral plane and mess with people's dreams and do bad stuff.
Gross.
But if you're not doing that, just touching it cures any disease.
Oh.
But it's handy, and I could just make regular garlic bread and not have to share it with people.
But again, if you wanted something less magical and more technological, you could maybe get, like, the Medic's Heal Gun from TF2.
Ah.
Yeah, that's a lot less fun.
That just heals health, though. It doesn't necessarily heal diseases.
Well, it fixes people up.
It literally stitches up someone's open stomach.
Yeah, but again, that's damage.
In the game, all it does is restore health numerically.
Yeah.
But in Meet the Medic, we've seen it fix, like, broken limbs. We've seen the demo man in a wheelchair. We've seen Scout with his teeth all knocked out, and it immediately regenerates those.
I would still argue that is just damage. It's not necessarily... I guess, like, disease is just damage.
Yeah, just on a small enough scale.
The only thing which is not known about the medic gun is what its fuel source is.
Yeah.
Garlic bread.
Garlic bread. Oh, we go round in circle. Here we go again.
Does it have ammo?
It doesn't have ammo, no, it's unlimited ammo.
Don't even have to worry about it.
But one of the questions that Meet the Medic introduces is, do you have to have a modified heart installed to be able to receive the Uber charge?
Oh, yes.
We have caffeine.
The other question is, does TF2 technology in general cause sentient tumors in bread?
Oh no, you've undone the garlic bread.
We know the teleporters do, but I don't know about the heal gun.
I'm going to need quite a big explanation.
So one of the TF2 videos they made is Expiration Date, which is a story where teleporting bread causes sentient tumors to appear in it, and it starts biting, and everyone thinks they only have 3 days left to live, and all the bread attacks. Also, there's a bucket.
My God.
I did have one thought, actually, of, like, a spell book from Ultima.
Okay.
Has a bunch of spells. Most of the reagents in that game are real things.
Okay.
Yeah, you could just learn to be a wizard. That'd be pretty cool.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
How many spells can you fit in it?
I think it's 72.
Oh, quite a lot then.
It's specific spells. A complete spell book has, I think it's 8 spells in each circle, plus some cantrip level spells.
But that's still going to cover, like, pretty much all your bases at that point.
Yeah. In Ultima, that is, all of the spells in the game can go in your spell book.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Then don't even worry about it. Yeah.
You can have a complete spell book, which is every spell.
And yeah,
basically.
and without looking up what all of the spells in Ultima do, I'm just going to make the assumption there are, like, damage and healing and...
Yeah, there's damage, heal, create food, teleport, summon creatures.
Create food, I'm in! Okay. I'm surprised that none of you brought up what I thought would be the most obvious choice, the portal gun.
Can only be put on certain surfaces.
Flat and white, isn't that the...
No.
Ooh, I don't know. Maybe they are specially coated with moon rock, actually, yeah.
Yeah, it's a special material. You can't just put it on anything.
Oh, I always thought it was concrete.
Specifically answer it in Portal 2. It is
Yeah.
a property of which the panels are made out of, because there are areas where you can't put your portal down onto, and you need to cover it with the white paint.
But you can portal gun on some of the metal areas, like when you escape into the background.
I'm not having metal floors just so I can portal around.
There is definitely a thing where the portal gun can only put portals on certain surfaces.
Yeah, you're right. I've just looked up and it says The portal can be placed on any surface which is made out of manufactured or refined moon rock.
So there we go.
There's a lot of moon to go round.
Talking of Portal 2 again, as soon as you get a portal gun, and assuming NASA's got some moon rock on them, we have effectively created a space elevator.
That's true.
Oh. Fire one portal at the moon, because you can do that apparently.
Yeah.
And one at wherever NASA's got it, and you're like, hey NASA, pay me enough money for this shit. And they're like, well, you've already done it now.
Oh no, they wouldn't pay you, they just take it. But
We could probably make the equivalent of moon rock now.
Yeah, manufactured moon rock is fine. Okay, well, that was a bunch of items. And rather than me going through all of them, why don't you all pick your favourite one item, and I'll choose my favourite out of those three.
I know the way to your heart, and it's garlic bread.
Strong choice.
I think I'm going to go with my apricorn tree because I love animals and I'd love to have a bunch of semi-sentient pets, even given the ethical questions of mine controlling them.
Never stopped you before.
for me, I think I'm going to go for the second Skyrim item, which is going to be the Ring of Bants to improve my speechcraft.
Ring of Mad Bants.
Oh, David, Prince of Bants.
Well, those are some strong picks. So we got garlic bread, which can cure diseases, is tasty, but it is the question of whether, like, the recipe works or if it's just one stick of baguette.
I ask myself that every time I accidentally make something tasty.
Is this just one stick of baguette, or did I nail the recipe? Yeah. The apricorn tree. The only problem with the apricorn tree is taking the seeds, the fruits, and turning them into Pokeballs. That's the one bit of the equation that's missing there. And the Ring of Mad Bants, what an item, but I am already pretty mad Bants. It's a tough call. They're all very good items. We've discussed quite a lot, and so I'm pleased that you've picked some of the better ones out of the ones we've discussed. But I think I'm going to have to give it to garlic bread.
Yes!
There we go.
Oh, so tasty. Oh, so good. And having some magical stuff as well, which is lovely.
Yeah, if only Skyrim had like a garlic bread generator in it.
If it had a garlic bread tree, that would have won hands down.
That would be amazing.
It wouldn't have even been close.
I'll find you the mod.
Congratulations, AJ. Your prize is an iconic video game item which you can use to win races, one up in Donkey Kong Country, and a great source of potassium. It's a banana.
Whey!
A banana!
That's going to be really good for my post-garlic diet.
And if you enjoyed this wander through video game items, you can check us out at hexagorgon.com. Hexagorgon spelled Hexagorgon. We're at Hexagorgon on Twitter, we're Hexagorgon FB on Facebook, Hexagorgon on YouTube, and Hexagorgon Live on Twitch. And we will see you next time.
Yay!
Thanks, everyone.
Garlic bread is already an item in game, right?
Yes.
So making the mod would actually be really easy, because you could take one of the plants in the wilderness that you can go and harvest and just mod what it gives you. So instead of getting nern roots, you get a garlic bread.
Yeah, go do it. Thank you.
Or a mud crabs drop garlic bread.
I can't fight a mud crab to get garlic bread.
What if you could pickpocket a mud crab and steal its garlic bread?
That would be good.
Mud crabs carry garlic bread that can be pickpocketed.
What has it got in its garlicky pockets?
Yeah, the garlic bread is ruined if you kill them, so you have to pickpocket them first.